lovers, and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. And today we are returning to Arran. Arran on the west coast of Scotland has a beautiful distillery, the Isle of Arran Distillery on the Isle of Arran, obviously. And it's a rather young distillery. It's only been inaugurated in 1993, if memory serves. Started producing at the end of 95, 96. What they did is they have these fruity whiskies, but they also have, as you are probably aware, they also have a peated expression which listens to the name Macri Moor, which is basically the bog where Arran gets its peat from for the peaty expression, which is named Macri Moor after the bog. The demand for peated whiskey is such that Arran is at this very moment building a completely new distillery on the Isle, a second Arran distillery. Although I'm sure they will not be able to call it Arran, because you can't call two distilleries by the same name, even if they are the same owners. But they are building a new distillery on the other end of the island, and that distillery will only produce, will only produce their peated malt Macri Moor. So you can imagine that there is this huge demand for the peated expressions if they are actually building a second distillery to produce the peated malt. And that also means that the old distillery, the original from 1993, will be freed up to produce only the unpeated style, which we've come to love, the fruity Arran. But the one we are trying today is a special bottling, and as you can see, it's not in the regular Arran bottle. It's in more or less like almost a dumpy bottle, because this is a small batch edition. It is a small batch that was released exclusively for Belgium. It is a Arran 2007, making it a 10-year-old, which after the regular maturation on bourbon casks and sherry casks was then given a finish on port casks. Oh, what am I saying? On rum casks. Rum casks, obviously, because otherwise it would not be called the Arran Small Batch Rum Finish. It is cut down to a drinking strength of 46%, and only 900 bottles of this were produced. So, on a rum cask, you wouldn't be able to tell by the color, if you don't mind my saying, so this is just a bright golden. But anyway, let's find out if this is any good. 900 bottles at 46%, the Arran Rum Finish on the nose. Well, straightforward actually. The barley sweetness, barley sugars. I get some baked apples, but that's about it. Excuse me. Well, maybe there's a lost almond in there somewhere, but nothing else. I mean, it's a rather straightforward, simple nose. There's nothing wrong with it, but it does lack complexity and depth. It is a very accessible nose, but devoid of complexity. Oh well, on the palate then. It's creamy, spicy. I get some peppers, black and red peppers in there. Some licorice maybe. But on the palate it is again barley sugar, baked apples, no almonds anymore. Maybe I just imagined that, but I do get a touch of wood spice, which gives it a little bit of depth. But again, this is nice, but again, there is no layeredness here. There's no complexity, basically. Nevertheless, it is an interesting malt. On the finish then. Rather short. It's gone before you know it. And it offers nothing new. Unfortunately, all I can say is barley sugar, apples, pepper. Well, there's nothing wrong with this malt, except for the fact that it's not challenging in any way. It's not complex or laden in any way. It's just a very accessible, fruity after dinner dram, and that's it. So there's nothing wrong with that. But if I'm going to have to pay 70 euros for this, I do like a little bit of complexity, you know. So this is a fairly straightforward Arran, not bad, but nothing fancy either. And that's all for this Whiskey Rambling, and I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the malt be with you.